This is what allows the hood scoop to actually function as intended, because it prevents the radiator air from mixing with the air coming in through the hood scoop, which is not installed on this machine yet. Always wear some gloves to be handling this stuff. It's very rigid. It's a very rigid part, but it's double aluminized, so the edges are sharp. They won't hurt you, wound you, but they'll give you a little paper cut, and that sucker will hurt for days. So there's going to be a little zip tie holding it around this back side. You'll clip the little zip tie, and then you'll unplug the plug from it, and then this just slips down on that little piece on the back side. You can't really see it from here with the camera, but it slides off. Don't try to pull it off of there. It'll just slide off. Once that's connected, you're going to pull it down here back out of the way, and we're not going to forget to put it back through the hole and reconnect it. So the first part, now that we've removed the radiator fan plug and it's pulled back out of the way, the first part is going to go over the radiator hoses. The bottom of it will be folded, and it'll just slide all the way through the other side. Sometimes it's a good idea to have somebody on the other side to help pull it through, but if you don't, no worries, you can get it through. The first part, you're gonna have the back is gonna come to you bent up. You're gonna leave it bent up like that, and you're just gonna come right in front of the brake reservoir and in front of the shop, and you're just gonna kind of gently feed it through. Once you get it started in between those two A-frames in the center, you want to kind of pick up on it right here and kind of get it up to height. Now I'm going to go around to the other side, and I'm going to pull it up and through. You'll reach in from the passenger side to plug in your radiator fan. Don't forget to plug that in before you hook anything else up. You want to pull that radiator wire through the fire heat shield, and you want to pull it through and re-plug it. That little plug slips back down on the frame. There's a little slit in it, and it slides back down on it. Just like when you remove it, you just want to slide it up off of it. Now that we've slid it in place, we're just going to stick a new zip tie up around the top to make sure that it can't come unplugged or come off. After you get it all in place and you get it kind of flattened out, you want to back it off so you can see that frame member. And you're going to feed this zip tie through the hole in the back. And then you're going to pull it on through, but not all the way. And you want to get it, you can bend this up out of your way if you need to. You can get it around underneath that vent hose that comes down right there. And then you got to feed it through there and then back to the other side of the heat shield. And that takes a little trickery, but if you're pretty handy, you can just pull it right through the other side. And I am through the other hole. So now once I pull it through the other hole, I'm pretty much home free. Then I can push in on this while holding the two together. I'll pull it up to the front, and now just got to get that zip tie put together, the heat shield, and then you just want to pull it snug up to the front right there. Okay, before we put our end zip tie on this inside, we've got this piece of foam we're going to put in place right here over the wire harnesses. So it goes down and up over them. That's just to make sure that nothing can ever happen to them. So once we close that on down there, now we can pull this zip tie and pull that around on top. Get it through the other side and get the other side deployed down like we just showed you. Now you're going to come and you're going to get this top rim, this top part of it is going to just come on top of this wire harness, and we want to come over the top of it about halfway around this bar, and then the rest of it is going to go just below the curve right here. That way that little tray can go back in here before when you go to put it back together. So we want the top of this again just over the horizon on this bend, and we're going to get it shaped in there. We're going to get it pulled in up here at the top. Also, you can't really see it now, but there's the heat shield. There's the concave air duct that it makes. So once you get it all installed and attached at the bottom of the brake reservoir, you want to come in there and hand mold this and bend it all into shape and get a good shape to it. And the more you get good creases on everything, the better it'll look and the more structure it'll have. But you can see the channel where the hot air is going to come out now. It's going to come out and out. Okay, next we're going to come in with this other piece for the top of the A-frame. You're going to push it in between the two up against that mat, and then you're going to work it up. And it's got to push all the way up into the top, and it'll seal that last little piece up in there. Once you get it up in there good, it should be all the way to the very tip top. There you go. Now it's sealed all the way. So even that last little bit at the top of that A-frame is sealed off. That should stay put on its own. You want to come around to the passenger side now on the first piece, and you want to bend this front kind of down to where it's bent in and sitting down on this frame bar. You'll see there's two holes there. You're going to zip tie. The back will be lined up with that plastic bracket that holds the radiator lines. This was once a bigger slot right here, is going to be opened up enough for the brake line to come. So when you attach it, you want to make sure that it's clearing the brake line nicely. So now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to run a zip tie through right here and right there. And we're going to secure this. Then we're going to take some of the heat tape and we're going to attach this piece to the frame. Once you install the two zip ties, you're going to heat up these two little peel and stick buttons. You want to heat it up real good with a blow dryer. I prefer propane torch because it's much quicker. And you're going to stick it right over each zip tie hole just to make sure that that doesn't ever come apart right there. So you want to push it down on there nice and tight. You can't just barely stick it. You want to really knead it and make sure you work it on there good. When we go to stick this second section of the first piece, we want to make sure that it's pulled up off of the, like far away from the brake line, at least a ½ inch away from it. You want to pull it up and you want to make sure the top is pulled in up top. So we're going to start with a short piece here at the bottom, but I think I'm going to try to get it from the top. And I'll spread apart good. Mm-hmm. All right, now I'm gonna add one more piece of the heat tape up here at the top. Okay, then the second part is gonna go up through and it's gonna go in back of the other one, back in there. I've got a winch wire that's kind of giving me a little hard time up there, but I'm going to get it. This goes in behind that shock, and up top, we want to pull the top into place. All right, come back up the front. Okay, now we have the winch solenoid box on this machine. It will not come with this cut out. It'll be perforated, so if you need to cut it out, there'll already be lines for it, but you'll just slip this down over that. And also don't forget to clean this frame member off before you put this on. You're going to take that felt tray and you're going to cut about halfway up, right where it turns in. This is on a Pro R, but you're going to do the Turbo R the same. You're going to cut that triangle just as big as you can get it, and then you're going to cut this back piece off on the Pro R. The Turbo R won't have that, but that's where the cool air is going to enter the cab. Okay, once you get this fiberglass plate reinstalled, before you put the hood caps on, you're going to run a bead of silicone all the way over the center of the bar underneath, all the way to about there. Then you're going to take these other two seals, and these are provided so no hot air can rise up and get in. We're going to keep our dash seals because we already have them, but we're going to add new fender seals, which if you already have the fender seals, you won't need to add new ones. You can use the other ones over. So once we get that bead of silicone, we're just going to stick this part down. We're going to follow the cage up. Now we're going to do that on both sides. And once I do it on this side, then we can put the hood caps back on. We're going to go back and if you don't already have them, these new fender seals will come with the kit. And on the Turbo R, I like to give a little shot of silicone across this front right here. That just seals it up to the dash seal. I like to keep the dash seals in there. That way, if any air comes around in here, it still can't enter the dash. So once we get that all up in there, it goes in front of the dash seal. Push it up in there like that, and you'll feel that little round spot going around the roll cage up in there. So that'll come there. Then you'll bring your zip ties. It's a double zip tie all the way around, right through here. Okay, once you get your zip tie, you just want to start it, and you want to make sure that you got to get this in place. I should have done that from the get-go. Once you get the top pressed in, then the bottom comes around the front like that. Then that tucks up in there. Now you want that zip tie to go around this part of it. So when you put it in, you don't have to tighten the snot out of it. It's really just to hold it in place. You want that rolled around to the back side, and you want this pushed all the way up in the front. And this, when it gets stuck in, the fender will hold it, and this will be sealed to the fender. That way, when this comes back in front of it, any heat that comes through doesn't enter into the cab. Use 100% silicone. You're going to put some on the bottom over the top of the two-sided tape, and then you're going to put some up here at the top. And if you want to put a little bit up in there, you can. I don't usually, but we want to make sure that this is sealed and stays secure to the fender. If you ever want to take it off, you can peel, the stuff will peel right off the fender with a little bit of effort. Nice generous amount. And on this, you want to kind of put it towards that side a little more. Could be there. Now all that double-sided tape is there for is to keep it stuck up to the plastic until the silicone cures. Silicone is really what holds it in place. Okay, we're going to install our fender over the fender seal. We're going to get the fender in place. We're going to put a few screws here to hold it in place. You got to make sure the bottom snaps in. Once you get the fender back installed, you won't leave this cap out. You can squeeze it together and get it to snap back in afterwards. But you want to get in here and push up on the front of that seal, and you want to make sure that this piece is seated all the way around. And now that I know it's seated all the way around, now I know that silicone is going to seal her up real nice, which is what we're looking for. washer and the screw, and then on the back it'll have a washer, then a spacer.